Hey you, welcome to Adulting's Ghetto. We all know adulting is truly overrated, so what better way to survive this ratchet place than coming together to share our stories and words of wisdom with one another. Join us as we discuss all things adulting from the following aspects of adulthood: finances, relationships, spirituality, and even health. This podcast is a great source to get all tips and tricks as you manage to survive adulting. After all, we already know adulting is truly ghetto. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Adulting is Ghetto. I got my girl Kaisha Smith here.
Hey.
Okay, so we're gonna get into this, okay? Because one, she's obviously a successful, amazing, beautiful black woman, as you can tell. But also, she's amazing first of all, you could talk about yourself. I'm so sorry. But pretty much, she's an amazing tax professional. I had to have her on. She's an amazing fellow entrepreneur, successful as well. So I just had to have her on to be able to speak to us about this. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So my name is Kaisha Smith. I am a native of Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, yes.
I always like to, put that in there because a lot of people are not from here. I'm from here.
Like me.
So what else? Yeah, so I went to Georgia State University, then Mercer for my master's, and I am an accountant. So I have my full-service accounting firm, Kaisha Smith Company.
Period.
We specialize in tax preparation for individuals and small business owners, and then also providing essentially your virtual CFO services for small businesses.
Yes. And we met, actually, I always have to say, we met through Samaya at the Be Selfish. Shout out to them.
Mm-hmm.
And
what year was that?
Man.
That was pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic, so...
2018?
18, let's say, because I got here 2017. So yeah, let's say 18.
Right.
And we've been locked in ever since.
Right,
okay?
Exactly.
But no, she was so amazing. Her spirit was amazing. And we literally met, and I was just like, oh my gosh, we got to hang out. And then we've been hanging out, so, and doing what Atlanta women do.
Yeah, I think the good thing about us is that even though we may not always hang out, frequently,
right,
but whenever we link, it's like we don't skip a beat.
Yes, right. Yes. Because, first of all, grown-ass woman, she busy. She be traveling also, okay? We got to talk about that. But no, seriously, it's hard to get on her schedule because she's a busy woman. But it's okay. It's okay. So, okay, let's get into these questions. Obviously, before we get into this, y'all see it's a different setup that we're in. We're outside with it, okay? And that's okay.
Enjoying this weather.
Yes, okay? And now if y'all hear some background noises, deal with it, okay? Thank you. Let's have it to say. Mind your business. Okay, so first question into it. What sparked your interest to get into the tax industry?
Yes. Okay. So I started off just in accounting in general, right? Yeah. So my godmother, she's a CPA. She has her own accounting firm. So I interned with her my summer between high school and college. So I did start college as an accounting major.
Oh, nice.
So I knew I was going to do accounting, but it's so much under the accounting scope. Like you have audit, tax.
Yeah.
There's a lot under it. So I did start off in tax, but just people knowing that I was an accountant, so many people would ask me oh, can you do my taxes?
Right.
Can you do my taxes? Can
right.
you do my taxes? And then when I transitioned, right, exactly. So I did do an internship for a tax company.
Okay.
And then when I started my company, then just looking at things that I was qualified to do, then I just kind of
taxes
were one of those. Yeah. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's beautiful too. Let's speak on it because I'm very big on having black CPAs, black accountant, black everything, right. Doctors. So it was amazing to see that. And also, I'm not from here, but coming down here to Atlanta to see black women in finance, in accounting, that's huge, because it's a very small statistic of us in this STEM kind of area. So it was so nice. And you're gorgeous, of course. So you were just killing it. And it was so inspiring for me as well. So I'm happy you decided to do that because I'm sure it's inspiring other folks too. And you may not even know it.
Right. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so another question I have for you is, you're a boss babe, obviously. What is one advice you would give to someone who is interested in becoming an entrepreneur and or accounting, tax professional, general?
Just one piece of advice. Oh, grace.
It's probably a lot. Grace.
Yes.
Okay.
Extend yourself grace.
I like that.
Yeah, I would say if I had to go back, or just even the times that, just learning, right? Learning experiences. Everything is not going to be perfect. But just give yourself that grace to get to where you want to be in life. Yeah, I think that grace would be.
We don't do that enough.
We don't.
Especially black women,
too.
Yeah,
not at all. And that's just a life advice in general. Especially with social media, we see people, we're on the outside looking in, and then we're like, oh, everyone has everything together. Everyone is so perfect. And life is not like that.
Right. It's just a little scope of what's
Right.
going on. I'm showing you the highlights.
It's like a highlight reel. Exactly.
It is. No, seriously. I mean, I like that. And so what is an example of you giving yourself grace?
Oh.
Or one that you don't mind sharing, really.
Right, yeah. I think that even everything for me right now is always associated with the business, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I would have to say, when you first start a business, like your every role.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so just giving myself grace to understand those roles that, like, 'cause I was doing marketing, I was doing everything when I first started this business. And like, if I didn't do something right in like the marketing piece, or I was hard on myself. I was so hard on myself. Then now I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna hire somebody to do that.
Right.
But you have to get to that place. Like, you just don't start off with a team.
Right. I mean, you got to pay them. Let's say interns or something. Exactly. But like, no, I agree.
And I would see people who were in like the same industry as me, but they had been doing it longer. And I was
You're like comparing yourself.
Like, comparing myself, like, oh, my firm isn't here. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. But I had to get there, right? Like, they had a whole team, and I was just getting started.
Right. So. And, you know, it's so interesting. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people don't talk about it enough. But I agree. Like, you see the end product a lot of other folks that you're following, emulating, want to be inspired by. But they had to start somewhere.
Right.
And I think it's so beautiful. I actually respect people that show more of the beginning scenes of like, hey, I was grinding, or whatever you want to call it. I wore every hat. You were every woman almost in that regard. And it's good because it's inspiring for other folks to be like, okay, I'm in the same space. This is just the beginning. It's not always going to be like this, or you hope, you know what I mean? And look, you know?
Yeah, because on social media, they'll have you thinking that entrepreneurship is just, let me take this laptop and I'm going to be on the beach somewhere. And I'm like, look, I work harder having my business than I ever did in corporate.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't trade it in. Like, I like that, you know, like, this is mine.
Yeah.
But I work so much harder. And then just that added pressure or that stress of knowing that, like, you can't take PTO and, like, oh, they'll figure it out while I'm gone. Like, even when I'm on vacation, I'm still thinking about my business. Like, a certain email comes through, oh, I'm stopping everything, and I'm addressing it, right?
That's real.
You really don't get that break.
That's so real. So. You know what? That's real, because people forget, like, when you're in a corporate 9 to 5, you get paid whether you show up or not. I mean, sometimes you get paid to be sick. You know what I'm saying? You can't.
And I even remember sometimes when I was in corporate, I'll take a vacation, they'll figure it out.
Right.
I
don't care. It's not my business. And when you have your own equity in it, and your name on it,
it doesn't work like that at all.
That is so real. And I think it's good that you brought that up, because people do forget that. Like, it is your name on it, so you have to plan this out. And that's also for people that are entertaining the thought for entrepreneurship. Remember that it is hard. It's not like an easy walk in the park, and you got to plan this.
Right. I'll never be one of those entrepreneurs that say, oh, everyone should quit their 9 to 5. I hear that a lot.
Yes, that's a trending buzzword.
And I'm like, no, because this is not for everyone.
No.
You know, like, the personality, everybody doesn't have this personality type, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because you need someone in every lane.
Yeah. To make the world work. Yeah.
Right?
My mom always said, someone got to flip the burgers at McDonald's. No offense, not saying it's you, but it's true.
That is true.
I mean, it's an ecosystem.
Exactly.
But it is good to know for yourself when you figure it out. I would never shy anyone away from it, but definitely plan. I'm definitely 9 to 5, 5 to 9er, because my 9 to 5 supports my 5 to 9. Okay, and I'm not ashamed of that until the 5 to 9 gets us together, and we can say F the 9 to 5. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. But no. Okay. Another question we have for you is that, of course, we're in tax season, and honestly, it depends on everybody else. Like, they can have extensions and stuff like that.
Exactly. But tax season, what is tax season? For me, it's like year round.
I was going to say.
Tax, I just have a busy time.
But in a non-busy time. I agree.
I'm always doing taxes.
Because I definitely do not make the deadline. Ever. Okay. And I'm sorry to my CPA. Okay. So with that said, any tips you would recommend for folks as we file our taxes this year?
I think it's just organization. That's one of the things that I really kind of stress to my clients. And it's only so much that we can do after the year has ended, right? So planning is essential. Like, so if you know you have big purchases, or just things are just in general, like, you see your income increasing, like, get with your accountant, like, so you can discuss that, because once the year is ended and you come to us, it's only so much we can do once the year is closed, right? Yeah. So we can definitely take advantage of the expenses that you've already incurred.
Right.
You know, there's certain tax strategies that you want to take advantage of, like, during the year.
Got it.
So with that, then I would say the planning is essential.
Yeah. And when you say that during a year, like, do you have an example or something? Like
even when it comes to like your 401k, like maxing that out, or just even like I have some clients where they like plan a vacation where we could set it up where like, okay, it could have been a tax deduction for you, right?
No.
They have clients that purchased vehicles last year. So like they have special, like that Section 179 depreciation deduction. And with that, like if your vehicle was over 6,000 pounds, you could write up essentially 100% under your business. So like I had a client who wasn't aware of that. We talked about it and I'm like, well, they just purchased a car and they were like, oh, I'm going between two different vehicles. I'm like, you should have bought that one because then we could have wrote it off 100%. So it's like little things like that. If you don't sit down and speak with us, then we can't assist.
Right.
So after the year is closed out, then there's only so much we could do.
So what I'm hearing is that you need to invite your accountant in for everything.
Right.
That's just like,
we need to be your best friend.
Yeah.
That's what it needs to be.
I see.
I always say that your accountant, your attorney, those need to be your
I'm about to say your attorney. I always
Right.
heard the attorney too, because like, look, you need to be protecting yourself.
Yeah.
No, that's real. I like that. Okay, we can put that on shirts. Okay.
Right.
No, I like that. Okay.
Don't look. I might do that.
No, seriously, take it. You're the one that said it. I like it because it's true. I mean, I definitely, with my personal purchases, I was like, oh, I know I'm getting a tax credit because I got an EV this year. So I'm ready for next year to be like, let me get the money.
Right.
But you're right. I didn't even think about the little things because I didn't think to do it under my business, actually. Anyway, we'll talk about that sideline. Anyway, this is about you. Okay, that's a great advice. Okay, so organization, and organization could be in the form of like keeping like receipts or just keeping
exactly. And I always tell
track.
a lot of my clients that they're like, oh, keeping up receipts is just so bothersome. I'm like, you already have
invoices.
your phone out. Yeah, you already have your phone out. Take a picture of it, and you can create like a regular Gmail account. Like it could be yours. Could be adultinessghettoreceipts@gmail.com.
Oh,
just send those receipts over there, and then at your convenience, you can go and organize them. But at least you know you have the support.
Yeah, right? I like that.
So,
or create an album of them if you take pictures of them, right?
Yep.
I do that. Because it's hard to keep up. I'm not going to hold you. We'll keep it. I give it to y'all because I'm not that organized in my life. Okay, so thank you for that advice. Okay, another type of question I have is for the future entrepreneur. Can you explain the benefits of obtaining an LLC?
Right. Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So actually, common misconception is that an LLC gives you certain tax benefits, right?
Yeah.
You get the same tax benefits as a sole proprietor. So you don't have to be an LLC. So what an LLC does, it gives you asset protection.
Okay.
So God forbid someone comes after your business, then your personal assets are still safe. Also, just from a professionalism standpoint, being able to present yourself and have that LLC, have that EIN number.
Yes.
And it just shows that, you're taking your craft serious.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to just security, like when you're completing like a W-9 form or anytime you're working with like vendors, you don't have to give your social security number. You have your LLC and then you have your EIN. Something else that would be a benefit, building your business credit. So as soon as you go ahead and start setting up that LLC, your EIN, you can build that business credit to like hopefully get to a place where you're not purchasing things under your social and your personal credit.
Yes, and that is so real. Like, my CPA is watching this, she knows, because I need to do that part, like literally. But I also opened up another card just for that. I just haven't linked it from that perspective. But you're right, that's so real. And like you can use your business credit. Obviously, we talk about this on other episodes, but credit, you can totally use that and leverage it, right? And so that is very key. Okay, so that's a great benefit. Okay, so now going to the other side of Adulting as Ghetto. Yes. You know we gotta start business first, but let's get a little social. Okay. Right. Nothing. Yes, we need to be endorsed. Okay. Okay. So how has it been dating? Being a successful Black businesswoman as yourself. How has it been dating in Atlanta, Miss? I'm originally from here, Georgia Peach. Okay, with the peach.
Right. Dating. So I guess I'm newly single.
Okay.
So I really haven't experienced the dating scene in Atlanta.
Okay.
Like I've done the relationship side, right?
Okay. Well, how's that? Because some of us are inquiring.
Atlanta is amazing if you already have a person, right? Like if you're dating, it's always something to do in Atlanta. I'm experiencing Atlanta as a single person, and it's a little different.
But what's it, a bombastic side eye? Like seriously, because what the is this?
Very much so. So, but again, like I said, I'm newly out here, I guess. But I'm at a place now. I'm just like, look, God, I put it in your hands,
right?
Because of the experience that I've already had. I'm just like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah,
like, I just
it's a
my
little ghetto.
patience is just not there.
I feel like you're not alone.
Yeah, my patience. What did we say earlier? I'm gonna need God to come sit next to me.
Yes, that means.
And be like, exactly. That means.
Yes.
This is my homeboy. It's safe to talk to him.
Right. I need clarity from like him alone. Like I don't need nobody else. Like, oh, I heard God tell me. He ain't tell me.
Right.
So until he tell me, yeah, we're friends.
Right.
No, I feel that.
I just said the other day I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, the place that I'm at right now when it comes to just dating or life in general is I'm just focusing on Kaisha.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm doing the things that, because when you're in a relationship, you compromise. Which is nothing wrong with that. So I'm used to being in relationships. So now I can literally do the things that I like.
Right, without worrying about someone else's opinion.
Exactly. So therefore I'm like, what are my hobbies that I just like to do?
For you.
So like bike riding, like skating.
Nice.
So I just feel like I'm doing all these things. I'm like, you know what? In me, operating my best self, always aiming to be better today than yesterday.
I love that.
The right person's gonna come. And then they're gonna align with where I am today.
Yes.
So I guess I'm not stressing it. Like I'm not in a place where I love being in a relationship, but I'm not in a place where I'm like, oh my God, when
you're like desperate,
No, because I want it to be right.
Right.
You know,
you don't want to.
I'm not in a rush. Even when I meet someone, I want to take my time, build a friendship.
Yeah.
Right. Because I want my next relationship to be my last.
Right.
So
you ain't got time to
rush to get to that place. So.
I feel that, and it's so funny. My who was it? My aunt, like basically a fake aunt, but like one of my best friends from college mom told me in college, she was like, the best dating advice. She was from here too. She's from Atlanta. So it was the first time I introduced a Southern lady, but she was like, listen, because it was first year in college. She was like, listen, the boys are going to be there. I was like, okay, yeah, And then she was like, what you want to do, you want to lose the game. You want to lose this game. I said, what do you mean? She was like, every time people tell you win the boy, win the boy. You want to be the last one for that boy, because he gonna go through several of these women, and you don't want to be one of them. You want to be the last one if this is who you want, of course within reason, obviously. And I was like, oh, I never thought about that. She was like, yeah, because they gonna go through this thing. Oh, I'm up now. I like this, and then I don't like this no more. I just mess up.
That's the thing, like you're growing. Hopefully, as we're getting older, you're growing as an individual. The person I was in my 20s, I am not like her.
Right.
But in my 20s, I was still mature.
Yeah.
Even the things I like I think back to my college boyfriend, and he was great. Like, I was so in love. That's my first love.
Aww.
I don't even think we would be compatible today. Like,
wow.
Against, that
just because of circumstance and growing.
Just life has taken us in different places. And I think that stands true for a lot of people. Like,
that's real.
You grow, and hopefully if you do get into a relationship that's your final relationship in your 20s, then you guys are growing together, right?
Yes.
But I've completely changed from the woman that I was in my 20s.
Yeah. That's real. And it's so funny because I've actually heard this too on a podcast. I'm trying to remember where, but either way, they were saying like when you find a partner or when you're dating or you're dating intentionally, you got to think about the future you as well, which is very hard to do. Obviously, you don't know what life can bring. Unfortunately, death is huge. That can affect someone's character, losing a job, whatever. Like life really can be ghetto, and it changed you. But this guy, and he was a pastor, he encouraged singles. He was like, know who you are for yourself and in Christ, heavily on that part, so that when you do go through life, you can reset to that. And if you've been authentic with your partner, they know that they can guarantee, almost like you will still be here in the race with me. And we're going to attack this problem together, instead of attacking each other.
I think that comes with knowing who you are. Like I can say, I sat here and said that, I'm completely different than who I was in my 20s. Right. But my core values are still the same.
Yes.
Right. Like that foundation doesn't change.
Exactly.
Right. Like, so even though maybe the way you navigate things, because life has taught you lessons, may change, and hopefully it improves. Right?
Yeah. Hopefully.
But who you are at the end of the day should not change as far as your core values, those morals, that
your moral,
yes, right.
Your actual who you are, and that's what he's saying. It's like spend time, figure out who you are, because we don't. We kind of just really grow up and get thrown into I like this, and I guess this is it, or you have a good job, which is great, but that becomes your identity when, and then unfortunately, if you lose the job due to outside of your own behavior, own control, you lose yourself. You see all the time, like millionaires not happy with all the money. It's like because they probably made that their identity, probably. And that's
I think
sad.
that's one of the things that I question or I'm concerned about with this newer generation coming up because of social media. Like, I think that, like with my friends and I, we often talk about like we were that last generation that growing up we weren't influenced. We didn't have that. Like when I was in college, like that's when Facebook came out. You had to have at that time. You had to, I'm aging myself, right?
But you look good, so it don't matter. It don't matter.
But you had to have like a college email address to be on Facebook.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
By the time like Instagram came around, like I was grown, you know. So I'm just like, and even still, like just being very transparent. Sometimes I'll get on Instagram and I'm like, I don't look like this. I don't look like
no.
You know what I mean? Even though I'm comfortable in my own skin.
Right. It happens naturally.
Right, it happens, and I'm like. Okay, but then I'm like, okay, but she paid for it.
Right. But this is natural, you know what I'm saying? Peach, okay, stop. You bought it. Okay. You got fillers. Relax.
We see people, and then even like younger people, like the things that they may wear, and like I was talking to, like I'm just like, this is different.
No, it's so funny. Real side note, because you know how like prom season, I mean, I was every year.
Girl.
These girls be wearing wedding dresses.
Wedding. It's a wedding. Okay, when I went to prom, we thought we were doing something because we had a limo. Like that was the big thing. Get a limo, right?
Right. A party bus or something.
Right, something. Oh,
no,
my goodness.
You need a Maybach. You need to rent the Escalade, like, oh, baby. And it's no more group stuff. Like you know.
Oh yeah.
Parents would do the group stuff to like obviously cut down on costs. No, it's individual.
All the friends have to come. All the parents' friends come to send you off to prom.
It's a whole production. And it's in high school.
Right. And I'm sitting here like being honest, like my whole little crew, I don't think, like my mom, I'm trying to think, I know I didn't get my makeup done.
Okay.
Like, that's like, we weren't doing that then.
Right.
Like,
this was like, no, I saw one, I wish I remember the girl because I would shout her out. She actually looked gorgeous, but you know, I like that she still looked appropriate for her age, because that was the other thing. I think it's getting a little out of hand because you're not even 18, you know what I'm saying? And it's like sheer, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know. And again, I don't have kids, so you know, I don't know if I can speak on it, but I know for me in my house, you better have. There was this, it went viral. She got the biggest prom thing because she got accepted into the college, #1 choice for herself, and got it all paid for. Now I will throw a party because you earned that.
Right.
But in high school, baby, I love you. But girl, if you don't put on that dress and stop playing with me, you know what I'm saying? Appropriate dress, you know, and you could rent a car, I guess, but relax. You know, it's crazy. But I agree, because I'm looking at them like, dang, like, I couldn't be in school with y'all because I'll be the poor one. Like, I ain't got all the brands and stuff, and I was not checking for that. You know what I'm saying? I would have to be made fun of. I don't know. But no, I love that you said that, because I do agree. It is a change and shift. And honestly, I can't wait to see the research that comes out of it, because
like we were able to be kids and just like grow into womanhood, right?
Yes.
Like we didn't feel that pressure being like rushed and thinking about makeup and hair and all this stuff when we was like 9th grade, 10th grade. Like I didn't have that pressure.
No, and honestly, even looking at the TikToks you see and all this stuff, you could tell. I don't want to get too deep, but I've noticed from like friends, sisters, and stuff like that, they do this thing where they cover their stomach. And I'm like, why are you covering? You are skinny as hell. Like, this is the best body you got at this point. I wish I had your little body. You know what I'm saying? Because now grown woman weight came. You know what I'm saying? And it's good, but like, you know. But they be covering like, oh, I'm shy. Girl, you look like this. And it's so interesting because I feel like that's something, I really can't wait till the research comes. I'm a little nerd like that. Because I really feel like that's going to be a thing. So like, definitely. I seen this person and I'm not as skinny as them. It's like, girl. You know?
But the thing that I feel like is detrimental is that we're being more conscious of our bodies now, but I don't think it's healthy. Like these younger girls are not looking at it from a standpoint of like, they're not thinking about, okay, well, let me take care of this body that I have. Let me be more healthy.
To be healthy,
Everything is like, oh, I want this certain body. Let me go and look at some surgery. Or let me go do this. I'm just like.
And it's unfortunate because people are dying now, like with unfortunate passings of people doing like mommy makeovers and stuff. I'm like, no offense, I didn't think she needed it. When I saw, I said, girl, you have beautiful 3 kids. You look good because I follow you, you know? And it's sad. So I agree. And like I said, bringing it back to dating and stuff like that, it's interesting because, you know, we're trying to chase after this imaginary thing sometimes and like really sometimes unattainable goal of ours. And it's for what? Approval of men, you know, which could be fickle, no offense, but like, you know, men all say, I heard a podcast, he was like, we want the wholesome women back. No,
Right.
you don't, because you be outside with them. Exactly. So clearly not. But you know what's right, but you choose not. You know what I'm saying? So what do you talk about? Like, for real.
Right.
But okay, well, outside of that, we went diverged, but I think it's important to talk about love yourselves, okay, for who you are. That's a shameless plug. Work out, eat your water, mind your business.
Right.
You'll be surprised, what your body start doing when you do that. Okay, you look like Kaisha. Oh, Kaisha, excuse me. No shit, I fucked your name up. It's Kaisha.
It's Kaisha. It's fine.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I had a long night last night. I'm trying to get it together. Okay. So I have another question for y'all. Okay. Or for you, excuse me. What's your most cringiest adulting moment?
Ooh.
That you don't mind sharing.
Right.
That's recorded.
That's recorded, right?
Yes. Let me put that out there.
Right. Reminder. Thank you.
This will be on.
I don't know. I think mine would probably associate with, because I was an adult, but like when I probably left corporate.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Because at that time, I was closing on my latest house, and it was like, oh, this is real.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, so even though obviously I done the budget, I knew I was in a good place, but it's still that whole, because that 9 to 5, it gave me this false sense of security, right? And so I'm like, okay, Kaisha, like, this is really on you now.
That's real.
Like, everything that comes in, you have to genuinely go out here and get it.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's my moment where I was like, ooh,
right.
doing this.
Right. Like, let me put my big girl panties on.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like that. And it's funny you say that's the false security that your 9 to 5 gives you. I agree. Can you specify on that what you mean? Like,
and so also I feel like, so for me, I graduated college in 2008. So that
was wow.
Right, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that was wild.
Right, so exactly. So
what
we
a
were
time.
competing for jobs with people who had like years of experience because they had been laid off, right?
Yeah.
So when I say a false sense of security, a company can easily let you go.
Yeah, as we can see, we here again.
Exactly, right? So I have a client who just got recently laid off from Amazon.
Oh.
And even like that whole getting back out there and trying to find another job that's going to pay you equal, if not greater.
More. Right.
Exactly. And if you've already built a lifestyle that's on that level,
right? Do we talk about it?
So that's why I mentioned that false sense of security, because they can just let you go when they're just tired,
Look, I just got my job, so I ain't gonna talk shit about them. But it's true. They did a little let go, and I found out through the news, and I was like, oh. And I'm new at the job. I was meeting these people, and they were not coming back because they got let go. And I was like, whoa. It wasn't due to performance at all. So, of course, not to them or anything. But it really was like, we're a business, and we have to make our numbers look good. And unfortunately, and that also almost would encourage yourself, if you do have that entrepreneurial spirit in you, to know, like, hey, you can't fire yourself. I mean, I guess you can, but you know, but you have the freedom to be like, no, I'm showing up every day to do this and not dictated by someone else.
Right. I think that's when you go back to when people talk about entrepreneurship or just anything that you're doing in life, right? Like, you understand your why. Right. Like, that's so critical, because
that is very true.
Going to continue to push you forward.
Yeah.
I saw this quote, and it really resonated with me. It was saying that on the days that you don't have motivated, or the days that you're not motivated, that's when discipline has to kick in, right? Because people tell me this all the time, like, okay, so you just out here, you're doing it. And I'm like, I'll be honest, I'll be the first one to tell anyone, because I'm very transparent. Some days I wake up and I'm like, I just do not have the energy today. Like, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But that's when discipline kicks in, and you're like, yo, but you need to do it. You need to get up, and you need to make it happen.
Routine, do the things.
And then when you think about your why, and so for me, my why is
what's your why?
Oh, my why.
Let's talk about it.
Just being I didn't have the best experience in corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had great corporate jobs, was able to, climb my ladder, but just being a black woman in corporate wasn't always the best experience. From even one corporation that I worked for, girl, HR called me into the office, and they had to be politically correct.
Oh yeah, of course.
And they were like,
save their ass.
Tire. And I was like, and I'm super professional. Girl, and then they sent the black HR director trying to express to me. She was like, your pencil skirts. I'm like, a skirt? It's long.
Right. Pencil skirts, first of all, they just go down the knees and the shins. Stop playing with me.
I can't help the way that it looks on me.
Now, look, okay, so, God blessed me. I'm sorry.
And then also just being someone else being promoted over me, a white colleague, but they wanted me to train him. And then so just a couple of different things that I experienced in corporate. And I was just like, you know what? I'm out.
No, it's real. And if I'm being honest, too, I can speak on this. I agree. My experience with corporate, and I've learned to say it a certain way. Yeah, I haven't had the best. And it was interesting because I would see other people, a lot of my friends, and they're loving their companies. I'm like, oh, man, I wish I could say that because I'm not having the same experience. And I just like, why? Is it me? Well, it's me. And I had a really deep dive. But also, I've learned, I'm also from up north. Big difference. Coming down south, there's a lot of, I mean, let's just be real, racism is still alive and well. And there's also just how I was brought up. I was brought up in the north. Not saying racism is not up there, but it's very different. This is like microaggression, like down here. I mean, you thinking everything's cool, but it's not. It's very aggressive. It's not passive at all. And it's like, oh, okay, you know, and like understanding
you have a certain
that
personality type to deal with it. And
you do.
I just didn't want to do that whole PR. Like, I'm like, I'm good on this.
Yeah.
Like, it's draining.
I had to learn
great
that.
At it, and I'm just like,
that ain't for me. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's funny because I had to learn that because I was experiencing it and didn't even know it until I went to my next job and I was like, whoa, this is different. Like, oh, I didn't have that extra microaggression, like, you know, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. So I had to explore what that looked like and almost redefine what that meant for me. And now I'm grateful I'm in a better place. I believe that it's been really good so far. And I've also learned a lot from that. So I know not to even try to indulge in those things. But it's just like, yeah, I agree. Like being black and it's crazy, especially in finance and stuff like that. It's the small things. I was telling my friends, I was like, I'm excited to just not be the only one. Like I could really just show up. I almost am like, damn, now I really got to be cute though, because you know, we judging. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me make sure my eyebrows are done, my lashes on, because I can't have no bummy days. You could do that with other places. They don't care. They don't know what's right. Okay, sorry. That was a little segue, but I like that. That's true. Okay, so the last question I would say, is what's the best adulting advice you've ever received that you wouldn't mind sharing with the rest of us?
The best adulting advice that I've received. Oh, okay. So
or life, yeah.
Right, yeah. So, but I didn't get it at the time. I got it later.
Okay.
So I.
That's really how most work.
Right. I was like, why did you make this clear?
Right.
No. So also back when I was in corporate, I was talking to this guy that was in tech.
Okay.
And so we were out at lunch, and he was talking to me, older guy, kind of like a mentor for me, right?
Okay, cool.
And he asked me one day, he was like, you know, what do your friends do for you? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, my friends are my friends. We hang out. We have fun.
Right.
Like, what do you mean what my friends do? And he was like, I was 27 at the time. He was like, you're too old for gossip buddies. You know? And so I was like, okay, I shrugged off.
like the tea be hot. Shut up. I'm just kidding.
But then a little bit later, I started to think about it. I'm like, you know what? Like, compartmentalizing, you know, people that are in your life. But then also making sure that what they say, your network is your network.
Yes.
Putting yourself in those positions where the people that are around you are assets, right? Like you bring something to the table and they bring something to the table.
Right.
Because
it's
you
mutual.
Can't be a subject matter expert in everything.
No,
right?
yeah.
And so that's why you lean on and leverage the people that are around you.
Yeah.
Like your circle is critical.
That's so real.
So yes, I think that was one of the, I've had plenty of life lessons that people have, you know, shared with me and that have inspired me and helped me get to where I am today or just constantly growing. But I think that was the biggest thing. I'm like, I just wish that I would have gotten that earlier. You know, like I feel like I've always done a really good job of networking and the people that are in my life are amazing. But I took that to even when it comes to not necessarily the networking piece all the time, but also who's pouring into you, right? Because I don't know if you've ever had like a conversation with someone and then just their spirit. Right?
Yeah.
It just kind of shifts your spirit and where you are.
Yeah.
And so just trying to do a better job of setting, you know, those boundaries.
Yes, boundaries. Right. That's a beautiful word.
Yes.
The other B word that we don't like to use sometimes.
Just setting those boundaries with who's in my life, right? And being able to a lot of people in my life, but maybe you don't have the same access of everyone, right?
Yeah. So. No, I totally agree. I mean, I love that advice. I think you're right, because my therapist would say, he was like, think of your life as like you on a stage or amphitheater or whatever, and you know, like they got orchestra seats down here, and then they got nosebleeds.
Right.
Everybody, you know, they part of your life. They could see the show, they could see, but not everybody got the VIP backstage passes. Not everyone could touch you. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And I agree, because you're right. You do need to have a really good circle around you, because life really be lifing.
And I have my friends in my core circle right now. When I tell you I love my girls so much,
yes,
that I could call them and be like, look, we need to pray, and they're gonna stop what they're doing. We on the phone praying, right?
Shabbat.
Or those people who just know your mannerisms, where they like, hold up, sis, been quiet.
What's going on?
When I talk to you, you just didn't sound like you normally sound, and that's how I would say that my group is like. We're all like that with each other.
I love that.
Right?
And we
all have different backgrounds. Some are moms, some wives.
Nice,
we don't all have to have the same life.
Yeah.
Right? But the support is genuine and it's real.
I love that. Okay, now that's a great advice. I don't think we have had that, actually. No, I'm thinking about the other episodes. I really like that, because it's true, and it's not to. We are not saying like start cutting off your friends, like
no.
Right. You don't support me today, but like they could be having a bad day, but like just reevaluate what you want. And it's funny. I think it's funny you say this, because as a single woman, especially, I feel like I find it sometimes hard with men, like male friends. It's like sometimes you can meet a male guy friend, or did you see?
I did. He's coming for you.
This might be the last episode we do outside.
Right.
That was a lie. That was a lie. You getting attacked? Okay. Right. Okay. All right. So sorry, y'all. But no, basically we were saying that, when you meet a male friend or male guy, it's like you're single, so you're like, ooh, this could be a potential mate. But like sometimes I've learned that some of my male friends are actually just great to be male friends, and they're just great connects, and the love is real, platonically, and maybe if it grows romantically, great, but like I'm learning to not assume every guy I meet is my husband or a potential mate.
Exactly.
They could really just be.
When they say season, lifetime.
Yeah. Oh, what's that? No way. I never heard. No, reason.
Some people come into your life for either a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
I love that. Yeah. Oh, there's another shirt. Okay. Let me get some profits from that. Okay. Let me stop kidding. But no, seriously, and that's what I'm saying. I've learned that, because some of my best guy friends, or just people I rock with, they are so supportive, and I would have, if I was always looking at them as like, my husband or something, it may not have worked, because we would have went a different direction than a platonic one, So I'm grateful for that, and I agree with you on that. So definitely reevaluate. Oh my goodness. Well, this was such a great episode. Kaisha! Okay, anyway, with that said, I want you to plug yourself. Tell us what's going on, where we can find you, support you. Of course, there's people probably want to ask you questions about taxes, accounting, all that great stuff. So you might have some future clients. So what's up? How can we find you?
Instagram, I am at your_favorite_accountant.
Period.
Yeah. So that's probably, or the website is www.ksmithcompany.com. Yeah.
And definitely check her out. And I was going to say, I just feel like you've been just so great. No, I have to affirm you, because you've been amazing. And like I said, like she said, we don't see each other all the time, but of course, Instagram, you see everything. But like, you've been living.
Like with Instagram, you feel like you've seen.
I'm caught up.
I literally had a friend, we talked in April, and she said something like, girl, I haven't seen you all year. And I was like, yes, you have.
Right.
But it's because of Instagram, like, girl, I know this happened.
Right.
And I had to think, but I was like, I haven't seen you this year.
And now I feel like a stalker, because I feel like, girl, you're doing that. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's true. I was like, I've been on the trips with you. You know what I'm saying? At this
I love
point.
Traveling.
Yes. I love it. So yes, but thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. And y'all, thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of Adulting is Ghetto. Outside. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Hey you, welcome to Adulting is Ghetto. We all know adulting is truly overrated, so what better way to survive this ratchet place than coming together to share our stories and words of wisdom with one another. Join us as we discuss all things adulting from the following aspects of adulthood: finances, relationships, spirituality, and even health. This podcast is a great source to get all tips and tricks as you manage to survive adulting. After all, we already know adulting is truly ghetto.